Yo, yo, what up? It's your girl Joy, the Hip Hop Power Front, and welcome to The Lighthouse. I am your host, and this is episode 011, master number 11. Okay, we must be doing something right, okay? And so, just like you have seen on the title, this week we will be discussing, or celebrating rather, 25 years of Ghostface Killah's Supreme Clientele. Yes, one of my favorite albums by one of my favorite MCs. Okay, I remember 10th grade. It was lit. Okay, it was lit. We was jamming this jam. Okay, so February 8th. 2000, yes, right after the whole Y2K situation died down, okay, Ghostface Killah presented us with Supreme Clientele, okay. This album during this time, Ghostface had went to Africa, he had went to Rikers, it was a lot happening, okay. Wu-Tang had released Wu-Tang Forever, and people weren't really sure if the Wu still had it, if they still had us in a chokehold. But Supreme Clientele changed all of that, and we are going to get into it. And just like in the title, we will be discussing Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl, 59-29 halftime show, okay? But we're going to do Dennis Cole's first, okay? And so I want to say and start off by saying I didn't know the perspective from which I was going to discuss the event chart for this album. Okay, y'all know most albums, depending on the date, it's 8 o'clock a.m. Okay, he was in New York. He wrote most of the rhymes in Africa, but the actual music was put together in Africa, except for maybe like a couple songs. You know, obviously you got to get features from the other artists that they want in Africa, right? So when I was putting together what I guess I'm going to call the grid or whatever that I show y'all at the end of the video, when I was putting together the grid, I noticed that the midheaven had the most aspects. And so we learned last previous episode, what a midheaven was. The midheaven is the angle atop your chart that starts with the 10th house. It is said to be your climax, where you are the most successful. This is your magnum opus moment, okay? And so I felt like, looking into all the aspects of the midheaven would totally be worth it for this project. So with that said, I do want to start off real quickly with Mercury conjuncting the ascendant sign. Here's the chart. Okay, you see the chart? Good. Y'all know I got my iPad and my notes, so let's do it. Mercury, right up here in the 12th house in Pisces, is right there at the ascendant, okay? Mercury is 5 degrees and the ascendant is 11 degrees, okay? So only 5 degrees. And I feel like that kind of describes the flow of the album. The delivery, it's kind of setting the tone for the album. And the first actual song is Nutmeg. There are 6 skits, not including the intro and the outro. So there are 4 skits, and then you have an intro and an outro, which is how music used to be. Okay, so I feel like the Mercury conjunct the ascendant describes the flow and the delivery of the album, and it kind of sets the tone for what we're going to hear from Nutmeg on down. Okay, and so also the moon is the very first planet here in the sign of Pisces. Okay, and I feel like he rhymed about what he felt. Y'all know Pisces, we talk about this every episode because it comes up every episode. The Pisces energy is always there in relation to Venus of some kind, okay? And so I know, it's not necessarily Venus that we're talking about, but I feel like with the moon, I feel like he rapped about how he felt, what he was going through, his time on Rikers, having to bend to Africa, Asham punching Mace in the face or slapped him or whatever he did. Okay. All of that is part of how we navigate through the album. I'll say it like that. Okay. But essentially, he rhymed about what he felt. Okay. We're going to talk more about this. So let's get started. So we starting off with Nutmeg, like I said, right? And so, okay. Sorry. I gotta backtrack. We're not starting off in that manner. We're looking at the aspects. So we're starting with the sun first, okay? Sun is sextile the midheaven. You see the sun right there in Aquarius, 12th house, okay? And you see the midheaven is right there in the sign of Sagittarius. And so a sextile is when the planets or the points are curious about each other. They're like, oh, what are you about? What's going on with you? They kind of awaken each other to their respective functions, right? And it's supportive, it's exciting, right? And it's all because when planets are sextile, it's because the sign that they are in have the same polarity. And so that's what is making it easy for them to have their needs met, the two planets, okay? It makes it easier for them to function when they have the same polarity. And by polarity, I mean positive, negative. Each of the 12 signs, they're either positive or negative. First start off Aries plus, minus 4 Taurus, all the way around the zodiac wheel till you get to Pisces, which is negative, right? And so here, I think this is when we start to understand his trip to Africa. I think it awakened his creative self-expression. That's where the sun is creativity and self-expression. And so I feel like the sextile awakened his creative self-expression, because you have to remember that Sagittarius is, well, the midheaven is about success in your career path and what you have been doing in order to maintain that structure or that level of success. You're the master, you're an expert, all of the things, right? You the GOAT. And Ghostface is the GOAT. He solidified his GOAT status with this project. Okay, I mean, he was probably going to be a GOAT because he just off of being a member of Wu-Tang, but you know, they're icons. They have literally, Pisces transcended hip hop, okay? So I feel like, yeah, the sun is awaken Aquarius, okay? The creative self-expression, because Sagittarius is associated with traveling abroad, i.e. to Africa. So his trip to Africa awakened his creative self-expression. Okay, you get it? You got it? You with it? Let's go. Okay? Now we're here at the moon, right? The moon is squaring the midheaven, okay? And there are a lot of jail references throughout this project, because he had started recording the project. He had to go to Rikers, do what he had to do there, and then he came back and finished the project. Pisces is associated with jail, hospitals, anywhere there is a confined space. And the moon in and of itself is about containing, like a crab in a shell, any crustacean, a lobster. It's contained. He was contained in jail, okay, during this time. In a lot of the rhymes, he is remembering and telling us about his now past experiences on the island. Okay, if y'all don't know about jail, be glad, but Rikers Island ain't no joke. I ain't never been, but Rikers ain't no joke, okay? And also, the moon is forming a semi-square to Saturn. Saturn is government, okay? But you got to remember also that Sagittarius is the lawmakers, the actual court, the truth, right? So he had to go see the judge, Jupiter, okay? And that's who sent them to Pisces jail, okay? So moving right along, I know it looks like we're jumping because I'm going in order, but the planets, obviously, you know, they're not going to be in order on the chart. So find Venus there in the 11th house, top left in Capricorn, right? 11th house in Capricorn, forming a semi-sextile to the midheaven, the MC, right there at the top, right? I feel like, or as I was re-listening to the album, because I'm telling y'all, I went back and listened to it, I was like, is this the same album? I mean, it was. You know, my favorites, Mighty Healthy, One, Malcolm. Some of the songs, like, this was on there too? Like, but okay. I feel like he found some level of security or stability in his religion. Jupiter is also religious figures, okay? Whereas Pisces is spiritual, Jupiter is the religion, the actual structure of a belief system, having faith, trust, and hope in a higher power. That's Jupiter, Sagittarius archetype. And so I feel like when he was in Africa, he found security and stability in his religion. And this album came out in 2000. And Ghost admits he was always interested in Islam, but he converted fully to being a Muslim in 2004, which is not long after this. I know 4 years is not long. He had 2 projects since this, Bulletproof Wallets, and I think the other one was, I can't think right now, but it might have been Fish Scales or Ghost Dini. But that's neither here nor there. But I think he found some level of comfort during this time where he probably started to actually step into becoming a Muslim. Because with any religion, once you join and convert, you are already there. You already had started to ease into it before you actually become a quote unquote card carrying member. Okay. And so I feel like we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this energy as well. Okay. But Venus in Capricorn, Capricorn is about structure and order, and that's what religion is. It is a structured belief system. Okay. And so next we are going to, where is Mars? Right back there in the first house. And we do have Aries that has intercepted the first house, because you see the first portion of it is in Pisces. Then you got Aries, and then, oh no, it's not intercepted. Sorry, I was looking at it wrong, but that's okay. But Mars is in Pisces. It is conjunct the moon. Yes, indeedy. Feed the needy. The moon is at 23 degrees and Mars is at 27 degrees Pisces. Okay, 4 degrees, 4 degrees. But this is a square. This is also a square, just like the moon, right? And so squares are stress because one planet's needs and functions are going to be repressed. Somebody not going to get their needs met. Okay? And so with Mars and Pisces for Supreme Clientele, this album, a lot of people were excited to hear because they hadn't heard anything, I guess, worthwhile from any Wu-Tang member at the time. So there was a lot of anticipation for this. But because the album was so well received, Ghostface doing this project himself brought life back into the Wu-Tang Clan. Okay? He was, and I'm saying, using Mars words, independent from the group. This is a solo project. This is not his first. It's his second. Well, and I'll say third if you want to count Raekwon's joint, Only Built for Cuban Links. But this is a solo project separate from the group. Okay? Him releasing this project allowed them to survive. Okay? That is also the meaning and the purpose well, I mean, that wasn't the intent of the album, but hindsight is 2020. Looking back, yeah, it totally saved the group, because now people can feel like they can expect quality from the other Wu-Tang members. Like, okay, like they do still got it. Okay. Because you remember, like at this time, it's literally just 2000. Okay. The 90s rap, things are changing. The landscape is changing. Okay. Puffy in the shiny suits and everything was full throttle during this time. Okay. And we know Wu-Tang is grimy, gutter. Okay. We hadn't heard nothing like that in a long time. Okay. We wanted to know that that style was still prevalent, still stable. Okay. It was still here. It's still the status quo. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Next, we got Jupiter. Am I going too fast? Okay, I just had to look at the time. Jupiter. And I feel like this is where we're going to come back. It is. Go back to the Venus and Capricorn. But Jupiter and Taurus. Jupiter is in the second house down there with Saturn in Taurus. Okay. And Jupiter is forming a trine, which is 120 degrees. We already talked about a trine, didn't we? Now we talked about a sextile, which was 60 degrees. But now we talk about a trine, 120 degrees. Okay. So this is about effortless creativity, where it's more of a flow. Okay. And the overall energy of this event, this album, is Pisces. Pisces is pure flow. Okay. So sorry, Jupiter and Taurus. Excuse me. Taurus is all about self and object constancy. So when you are a baby, right, you don't have that level of perception to know that when something is out of your sight, someone or something is out of your sight, that it still exists. And so I think with this album, Ghost realized his purpose. Like, even though he went away, he was locked up in Rikers, he's still important. He still means something to the culture. He can still come back and do music and have it be high quality and let it be successful, right? And so he is understanding that he is still significant even after doing a little stint on Rikers. Because a lot of times you don't come back from stuff like that, especially back then, okay? Going to jail and then coming back out and still having a successful career, that wasn't common like it is today. People can go away for years and apparently they can come back and be a successful rapper. That was not necessarily, a lot of times, I mean, I'll just say it wasn't the case then. But for Ghostface, he had a bigger purpose. Okay? And realizing that you still have purpose, okay, that's Jupiter, the purpose, the meaning, being significant, okay? Because you got to remember, Jupiter is forming a trine to the midheaven, which is in Sagittarius, the sign that it rules. So it's doubling down on the meaning, on the purpose. It's a doubling down on the significance of the project that you're working on. Okay. So we're going to jump to Aquarius, 12th house. And Uranus is at home in the sign of Aquarius, forming a sextile to the midheaven. We already talked about sextiles, being curious. Okay, like, oh, okay, hey, what do you do? Oh, well, this is what I do. Oh, forming together like Voltron. Okay, so he has a very unorthodox style. Okay, let's get into the style. Let's get into the style. So on Nutmeg, and I can, now that I know this, I mean, I knew, but I didn't know. Now that I know what he was trying to achieve with the style, I can break it down and make it understandable and digestible for you all. So Nutmeg is a song that it doesn't make any sense, right? It's just a bunch of words. But because of his flow and his delivery, It sounds like he is bars, right? I mean, it is bars. But Ghostface always said, like, nutmeg, it doesn't mean anything. He doesn't know what it means because he was trying to work out a new style without anybody knowing. One, when he recorded the song, he just was recording into the microphone. There was no beat. Okay, the beat was not made until after RZA had recorded his vocals. Okay, so the beat was made and tailored around, okay, his delivery. But the style he was trying to create, okay, he was creating a style, because I ain't heard it since. He was putting together words that rhymed, words that he liked, that he felt sounded good, even though it didn't necessarily mean anything. Like like a tongue twister, but words that aren't necessarily like a coherent sentence. So like nutmeg, jiffy, no. Let me stop. Nutmeg, JPEG, I said, gimme head, but that made sense, so it wouldn't have worked. But whatever. But go back and listen to nutmeg. The words rhyme. They don't go together. They don't make sense, but it do sound good. Okay? And you can hear that a lot on other songs on the album as well. Okay? What else we got? Oh, it's a very unorthodox style. Okay, we're talking Uranus at home in Aquarius, right? It's a very unorthodox style. Okay, and since we're talking Uranus and Aquarius, genius, innovation, I gotta throw in the fact that GZA is on the album, Woo Banger. Okay, he's a feature. Okay, but the album is very original, unique. The style is unconventional. It's avant-garde. Okay? And so I would also say that this particular placement is reflective of the song Malcolm. Malcolm was a revolutionary. He was rebellious. He was anti-establishment. Okay? He wanted to awaken. He wanted to liberate. He wanted to enlighten. He wanted to do all the things. Literally a Uranian figure, okay? Whether you liked his ways or not, by any means necessary, okay? And then now we are on Neptune in the 11th house, on the edge of Aquarius, right on the edge, only 4 degrees in, okay? Another semi-sextile to the midheaven, okay? This just describes Ghostface's style and approach, just him as an MC altogether. Okay? Storyteller, imaginative flow. It is glamorized. Okay? Ghostface can glamorize some stuff. Okay? He can make it sound real good. Okay? Fantasy. You know, he making some of it up. In the skits, well, the intro and the outro, and even the interlude, is all from Iron Man, Tony Stark's, the cartoon, okay? You're not going to get an Iron Man, Tony Stark's project without it. It just doesn't even make sense. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? Okay? And then, what is the video? The video for Apollo Kids. It is Ghostface pulling up with the eagle on his arm, robe like always, quintessential Ghostface. Okay, pulling up to Stark's Enterprises, where it's a factory where they're making wallabies. If you don't know about Clark Wallabies, they are also celebrating the anniversary this year. Go to their Instagram page and you should be able to see it. It's on YouTube too. Maybe I'll link it at the end of this video. I'll link it. Okay. But yeah. And like I said, he talked the unorthodox style is also on Apollo Kids. Rappers like ZD, Strawberry Kiwi. I mean, obviously, rap is good, right? ZD is good if you know what you're doing. But Strawberry Kiwi said it didn't mean nothing. I was just trying to make it mean something. Put the meaning in the words. Give life, give meaning to the words, to the rhymes, okay? And then Pluto and Sag. And then I'm going to give my last little bits about particular songs. Pluto and Sag. You see, Pluto was right up there in Sagittarius, conjunct that midheaven, straight up and down in the 9th house of Jupiter Sagittarius. That's right. That's right. But with the conjunction, a conjunction is kind of forceful. You have to be driven towards your creative pursuits for a conjunction, okay? And I feel like for Ghostface, this project was probably cathartic. It was healing. Okay, he needed to get it all out. Because I feel like after this, he started to probably transform into a more religious person, more religious man. Okay? Sagittarius, Jupiter, 9th house, you doubling down. Okay? A little bit on the religiosity of it all. But this album regenerated his career. It regenerated the whole Wu-Tang career. Everybody, all the members and the producers, the ones who was associates, the ones who was affiliates. Okay? You had Wu Gambinos. You had everybody was trying to be Wu back then. Still is. Okay? But he had to purge, expel, and eliminate all of that, because when you are devout in your religion, you have to get rid of certain people. You got to start eating right. You got to do all the things. It's a lifestyle if you're really doing it right. Okay? So, the song One, okay, I feel like he brings up his time on Rikers. And Saturday Night is about, I think, the feds. So in real life, during this time, the feds were allegedly, they were investigating Wu-Tang for whatever reason, whoop-de-wop. But they actually found out who the snitch was, or the rat, or the informant, or whatever. It was somebody that somebody else hired to be one of the managers or something like that. But they figured it out and they got old boy up out of there real quick. Okay? Then you got Ghost Dini. Okay? The ops was trying to take him out in that Joan. The ops was trying to take him out. That's why you got Mars right there on the edge. If I need to get up in Aries, I can. It ain't. Okay? I just need to, what? Just slide over, what? Because, what is it? Mars is where? 27? Only 2 degrees away from its home sign. Don't test me, nah. Don't test me, nah. Okay? And then, Buck 50. This is where the glamorization of Ghostface comes in. He talk about being at a Hollywood party and who was there and what happened and people getting jewelry stole and all that. But this was one of those Hollywood parties that you hear about, okay? Ghost wasn't involved, but he saw what was happening. He was like, oh, it's like that. It's like that, huh? Okay. And if you don't know, Buck 50 is the scar across your face in jail. A buck 50, yeah. Yeah. Queen Conks, a buck 50. Then you have the Grain, where he is in the hood. He enjoying himself, but he got to keep his head on the swivel because you in the hood. You can't let your guard all the way down. You in the hood, okay? In Danger, that's Pluto. Pluto is all about the danger, okay? Stranger danger. And then Mighty Healthy, okay? Yeah, we successful. He compares himself to other successful men like Derek Jeter. I think he even likened himself to Jesus. He mentioned God. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I got everything I need. I'm feeling mighty healthy. My pockets is fizzy. Okay? And then you got Stay True, which is a song produced by Inspector Deck that was released on Inspector Deck's album maybe like 2 or 3 months before Supreme Clientele. So, but yep, Stay True. And Stay True is my song. Mighty Healthy is my song. Mighty Healthy is everybody's song. What else is my song? I love the skits. Okay. It's some stuff back and forth with 50 Cent on here. I ain't getting into it, but it's funny. Okay? It's funny. It's funny. So before we talk about Kendrick, let's get a word from our sponsor. You thought it was going to be a real sponsor? You thought it was going to be a real commercial? Nope, just me. Y'all know I don't do the ads. I mean, maybe it's an ad on your phone, but it's not an ad from me. Okay? Yes, I did a thing, guys. I wrote an ebook. Can you believe it? Because I can't. It was a lot of work. But yeah, the ebook, Introduction to Major Arcana, is now available for purchase at my website, www.12thlighthouse.com. Get your copy now. Once you make your purchase, you will have 24 hours to download using the link provided. Okay, and then if you don't download it within that first 24 hours, you are going to have to pay me back. Well, pay me again. So go ahead, get your e-copy of Introduction to Major Arcana today and start your tarot journey with me. And we're back. Okay, so let's talk about it. Squabble up, squabble up, squabble up. Okay. On Sunday, February 9th at about 8:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Kendrick Lamar became the first solo rap artist to headline the Super Bowl halftime in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. I'm pretty sure it's 59. Yes. It was good. It was good. I'll save my personal thoughts. I mean, I loved it. I was jamming. I saw the blackness. I felt the blackness. I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh. He broke the fourth wall. He's staring into the camera talking to old boy. Woo! And then Serena. Yep. Okay. And I mean, I was kind of sad there wasn't no guests, but I mean, you could do whatever you want. I mean, he did have guests. He had Serena. He had SZA. He had Samuel L. Jackson. As soon as I seen Samuel L., I was like, oh, it's Uncle Sam. We ain't playing up in this jank. Okay. All right, so let's focus. Here is the chart. Okay. Let's get it. And the first thing I want y'all to notice is that the 9th house is in Gemini. Kendrick also has his 9th house in the sign of Gemini. I just need y'all to know that. I just need y'all to know that. Oh no, you know what? Kendrick's is 8th house. It's 8th house Gemini. Dang. But oh well. Yep. So, as you can see, the first 4 houses of this chart are empty. These are all the personal houses. So it's safe to say that whatever happened during this performance was literally not personal. Don't take it personal. Okay? Don't take it personal. Okay. So, Libra rising. It is only fair to have Kendrick perform. He was the top artist last year. He was everybody want to see Kendrick. Everybody and their mama want to see Kendrick. Everybody know Not Like Us. Why wouldn't you have the biggest music artist in the country, in the world, Craig, perform at your event? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Okay. Boom. So since we ain't got nothing 1 through 4, we're going to start in the 5th house, home to the Sun and Leo. Okay. Yes, it is an Aquarius, but as you can see, the Sun is at home in the 5th house, right there with Pluto and Mercury. Everybody all up in the Aquarius, hanging out, spending time. And you can see the Sun and Mercury are conjunct one another. Okay? So, I felt like for this performance, Kendrick was recognizing himself as separate from other rappers. He definitely separated himself. I mean, you're the first solo rapper none of your peers will ever be able to say that they performed solo dolo at the Super Bowl halftime show. The ops from Canada definitely ain't gonna be able to say he did that, because I don't even think they would offer it to him at this point. I think it's done. I think it's a wrap. Kendrick now understands that he is a part of a larger whole. Okay, there is, with the Super Bowl, he has reached another level, higher than anybody his age group, any of his peers. None of them are going to be able to say anything that they do is not going to be no Super Bowl. Okay, I can tell you that right now. This performance overall, because we're still talking about, we're not talking about the rising sign no more. We're in Aquarius, but that's okay. We talk about Pluto in Aquarius. This performance was deep. It was powerful. It was provocative. Okay. Fifth house, you got to think entertainment, sports, performing, a stage, audiences, supporters, fans. All of that is fifth house Leo sun. Okay. And so you add in the Aquarian. This performance was awakening for some. It was enlightening for some. It was different for a lot of people. It was definitely giving anti-establishment. Okay, definitely giving anti-establishment, and the establishment was in the building. But I can almost guarantee that he left before halftime. But I mean, we don't know. I didn't see nobody say that he left before halftime. I mean, the game was kind of boring up until the end of the second half. I mean, I fell asleep. But anyway, so we're going right to Saturn. Government, bureaucracy, president, okay, in Pisces. Okay, I think that some people, not necessarily even the NFL, I feel like the powers that be felt like, oh well, if we have a sitting president, then that will be like an indirect way to kind of control Kendrick's artistry. I feel like they thought they were going to restrict, block, obstruct. All of those are Saturnian words, okay? Such an artiste, Pisces word, like Kendrick, okay? And because it's in the sixth house, you got to remember the sixth house is Virgo. Virgo, like Gemini, wants to label, wants to categorize, it wants to, that's how it understands. That's how it makes sense of things. But you are not going to be able to do that with Pisces. Is very confusing. It's very chaotic and crazy and confusing. Did I say confusing? I'm a Pisces. So yeah. Okay. It's very spacey, foggy. Okay. We don't know where we stop and start. Okay. That wasn't going to happen. But we're going to come back to this. Okay. Because you see that Saturn is forming a, where is it? Trine to Moon and Mars. Okay, but we're going to get there when we get to Moon and Mars at the end. Okay. So boom, Neptune is at home in the sign of Pisces. Now I know, looking at this chart, trust me, I tried to draw it up multiple times, and Neptune. Sorry, y'all. I had to change my setup. Okay, I had to get a new microphone and everything. So just bear with me. We are almost done. Okay. So we were on Saturn and Pisces. I forgot exactly what I was saying, but yeah, you got it. I know we're talking about Neptune being at home. Neptune being at home. I'm just trying to looking through my notes to make sure. Okay, I was saying Neptune is conjunct the North Node. You can see this line right here where the 6th house stops and the 7th house starts. Okay, there's a little notch right there on the descendant. That little notch is for Neptune and the North Node. I know it just looks crazy and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, is something wrong? Something wrong? Something wrong? But it's just the way this website has the graphics laid out. But Neptune is at home in the sign of Pisces. And that is that the 8th house? It doesn't say. It does. Well, yeah, it went well. Not 8th house. I meant to say, is it 6th? It's right on the 7th, at the start of the 7th. And that's fine. So, Neptune at home, right? The language of Neptune is symbols and metaphors. And as we know, you can see the larger whole perspective of Kendrick's set. It was a Sony PlayStation controller, allegedly, with the X, the square, circle. In the middle was a big prison yard, some say. Okay? And so, symbols and metaphors, it's Pisces things. It's Pisces lingo, okay? Right in there. Excuse Frankie. Okay? Globally, Pisces is globally, okay? Globally, this was the most watched Super Bowl halftime performance in history with 126 million viewers, okay? And they get the viewers based on who's logged in on what TV, whoop whoop. Even though it might have been 10 of y'all in one house, they not doing each person. I mean, I don't know. They might have face recognition in the TVs now. I don't know. But, okay, they're just counting every TV in which the Super Bowl was playing, okay? And so, like I said, confused, puzzled. The metaphors probably left some people confused. They were puzzled. They didn't get it. It was over their head. It was over their head. Because Kendrick is with the 126 million. Yes, I know we love Kendrick. We know Kendrick, you know, as an artist. But there are people out there that don't know who Kendrick is. And so this was him introducing himself to that new audience. We'll get into that very shortly. Venus, okay? In Aries, the first solo rapper to perform at Super Bowl halftime. First, Aries, okay? First, the beginner. Pioneer. He's a pioneer in this way, okay? Independent. Solo artist. Independent solo artists, okay? To secure or have, Venus, okay, this platform. And the 7th house is all about intimate relationships, not sexual, okay? Intimate relationships, i.e. business relationships. The only 2 real feature guests that he had were SZA and Mustard, 2 of his business partners, okay? I'm just saying, okay? And so now we're getting up there to Uranus in the 8th house in the sign of Taurus, okay? Uranus, I know some people got upset. I'm sure they were. People saying, no, it was boring, it was this, it was that. It wasn't boring to me. It was not boring to me because I know, Kendrick, you got to pay attention to this. What does this mean? What does this mean? I couldn't post. I couldn't respond to text messages. It was too much. I couldn't do it. Some of it, I just had to leave it alone. Okay? But I'm sure it upset some people, especially when they saw he had on that A minor chain. Okay? That's where the Venus is really showing off. That A minor chain. And then it had like in fuchsia crystals or stones. It said PG Lang on both sides. Woo, baby. Okay, you see the up close? You see it? Yeah, I found a picture. Yeah. I want y'all to see what I saw. Okay? So, this performance, I think liberating people is his comfort zone. I think shocking people by performing Not Like Us. I think he is the quintessential deliberate rebel. Okay? He's going to do anti-establishment regardless. He is going to rebel every single time. He don't know nothing else. It's who he is how he grew up. Okay? Being a rebel, doing something different, than what the mainstream expects you to do. That's Kendrick all day. That's Kendrick all day. And the NFL had to know that, and they just gave them leeway. They just wanted him to perform not like us. That's all they cared about. That's all anybody cared about. Hey, at least we got humble in DNA. Okay? So next up we have Jupiter in Gemini. Okay? Ninth house. House of mental stimulation. Okay? This is about teaching. Okay? If you didn't know, you learned that day. You learned on Sunday. You were in class. Okay? This is what Black America has been going through. This is what we deal with. Ain't nothing changed. We gonna be all right. Okay? So, a lot of times after the Super Bowl, people use that to advertise, to sell whatever it is they trying to get off. And it's a tour. Okay? People was gonna go anyway, but now they really going. Okay? They really going. Okay? I feel like Kendrick researched, he studied while we tried to predict what he was going to do. We speculated from the moment for the last 4 months about what Kendrick was going to do on that Super Bowl stage. And we found out on Sunday. Okay? So now let's get to this moon, Mars in Cancer trine Saturn. So the moon and Mars are conjunct in the 10th house of, well, this 10th house is in Cancer, and these are almost like equal houses almost, some of them. Yeah, they only off by maybe like a degree or two. But that's cool. That's cool. All about the career, baby. 10th house is about the career, your mastery, what level you on. Okay? Are you an expert? Are you the GOAT? Okay? How high, how successful are you really? Okay? So, a conjunction. The conjunction is between the moon and Mars. It's very exciting, and having Mars involved in the conjunction is great because Mars, Aries, first house conjunctions are all in the same archetype. Yes, they are all various dimensions of the same thing, okay? And so Mars being involved in this conjunction is like, hey, moon, come on, girl, let's go, let's go. Woo, have fun, let your hair down. Forget how you feel, just do it. Stop worrying about feelings and empathy and sympathy and understanding. Forget the past. Literally forget the past right now. We are on to the future, baby. Okay? And so the moon is also at home in the sign of Cancer. So there has to be some level of, what is the word that I'm looking for? There has to be a foundation laid. If Kendrick is the first solo hip hop artist to grace the stage, he is literally setting the foundation for any other solo rapper who will ever grace the Super Bowl halftime stage. Okay? But we were excited because we know Kendrick belonged on that Super Bowl stage. Okay? He was dared to perform Not Like Us with all the varying lawsuits and things, and he even teased the song, oh, I'll do it later, because you couldn't do Not Like Us, because after Not Like Us, everybody gonna turn their TVs off. So that's why Not Like Us had to be last. I knew it was gonna be last, but anyway. The performance showed us the roots and the foundations of Blackness and what it means to be Black in America right now. We have to show each other unconditional love. Okay? We have to come together for a bigger purpose against, okay, the establishment of Saturn, the government that it represents. Because right now we don't even know where government starts and stops. We don't know where the powers, the government, this administration don't even know what they can and can't do. They're just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and people either cowering and making it happen even though they don't have to, or they just go on to the next thing. Okay, oh, we can't do this. Okay, all right, go on to the next thing. Like, make it make sense. But this performance, I mean, I know people don't like to acknowledge the struggle that Black Americans that we face in this country on a day-to-day basis, having to hold our tongues and not say this and look a certain way and speak and assimilate and all the things. But then just to have somebody that I know represents me on that stage, I felt seen. I felt heard. Okay? I felt like Kendrick listened, like he is responding to how I feel as a Black American in this country. He is putting my family and friends, he's putting our experiences on that stage and displaying for everybody to see. Okay. And like I said, Mars. Okay, first impression for millions of people. First impression for millions of people, and you only get to make it once. Okay. Well, I hope you all. Oh, I did say I was gonna say how I felt. I mean, I thought that I loved it. I was jamming. I was going crazy. Frankie even started jumping up on me. Okay, I'm like, all right, bro, you gotta calm down. But your girl, I'm hype. Are you hype? We hype together. Okay. Some people felt like, oh, why was Serena Crip walking? Her older sister was killed by some Crips. I mean, but it ain't like it was the first time that she did it. I mean, that's a Serena question. And then some people felt like, I mean, granted, I didn't think it was going to be so GNX heavy. That's why I was glad to see DNA and Humble. But King Kunta, yeah, that would have been good. We're going to be all right. That would have been good. And yes, it would have been great to see Janet Jackson doing Poetic Justice. It would have been. Yes, it would have been. But, you know, it is what it is. It's history now. So, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.